Hey everyone, what's going on? Welcome to another episode of the Genesys Cloud Communities Q&A show, the show where we answer your pressing questions in the Genesys Cloud online community. My name is Matt Lawson. I'm the manager of online communities at Genesys, but today you might as well call me your quarantined genie because I'm here to grant you a wish. If you've watched the show before, you know that we typically at the end of each episode ask you to email with what topics you would like for us to see in future episodes or what experts you would like to interact with. Well, it's no surprise to me that one of the most commonly requested topics is always artificial intelligence. What is Genesys doing with predictive engagement, stuff like that. So today, I searched high and low, finally met the right people, and wouldn't you know it, we're going to have an entire episode dedicated to the Genesys Predictive Engagement model. So, sit tight, get ready, and I hope you enjoy. Hey, everybody, welcome to the show. How are we doing?
Doing great.
Doing great.
Great.
Cool.
Thanks, Matt.
Awesome. Well, so we'll start with Dan. Dan, real quick, can you just introduce yourself?
Yes. Hi, everybody. I'm Dan Era, based in the San Francisco Bay Area. I work out of Genesys's Daly City office. I was one of the co-founders of Alto Cloud, a company Genesys acquired that is a customer journey analytics platform, and we'll be discussing and demonstrating that in a little bit this morning or today.
Awesome. Troy, what about you?
Hi, my name is Troy Hinkleman. I'm a senior sales specialist focusing on the predictive engagement product. I work remotely from Chicago, and just working on getting predictive engagement in the hands of as many folks as we can.
Awesome, cool. And Don, you're the mastermind that brought us all together today. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Thanks. Hi, I'm Don Hoovenham. I'm located in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm part of the Genesys Cloud Commercial Operations Group. So kind of one of the things we really focus in on is how do we reduce friction and how do we improve communication, right? And Matt, I know you've been doing a great job with community and kind of these sessions and videos, and we've got a lot of questions on predictive engagement. So I think this will be a great session.
Cool. And last, certainly not least, Paul, how are you, my friend? Welcome to the show. Can you introduce yourself?
Thanks, Matt. Yeah, thanks for the introduction. My name is Paul O'Dwyer. I'm a principal solution lead for Genesys Predictive Engagement. Despite the accent, I'm actually based over here stateside. I'm in Western New York, in Rochester. And along with Troy, I spend my time getting Genesys Predictive Engagement out to the field and helping our customers and our partners understand the value of our AI offerings.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys again for joining us, and congratulations on your haircuts. You all look fabulous. So real quick, just to get things started, as the world will look back on this time, we are all currently in quarantine, and a lot of us are trying to figure out what's the future of coming out of this shell look like. And one of the things I think about a lot, because it was a favorite hobby of mine, is movie theaters, right? And how, it'll probably be a while before we can go back to a lifestyle like that. And in the interim, I hear more and more rumors that we may go back to the old tried and true viewing method of a drive-in movie theater. So my question for you is, if after this recording we were to all hop in a car or a van and go to a drive-in, what is the movie that you would most want to see? And just to keep it simple, it has to be a movie that's readily available. So, already on Blu-ray, DVD, VHS, Laserdisc, whatever your chosen medium is.
So I would like to see The Bourne Identity at a drive-in theater. A lot of action, really giant screen, and I think that would be a pretty interesting movie to see.
Cool. What about you, Troy?
Ooh, the Bourne Identity was a really good one, but I'm going to go with a classic and say Goodfellas.
Oh, nice. That has a great musical score also. It'd be cool to hear through a sound system. What about you, Don?
I don't know. I'd probably think about something, I'd probably go with The Natural, right? Baseball movie. And I think it's more around the story, right? I mean, more engaging, because I'm thinking about the screen. The sound quality is not going to be as great, right? So I don't, I'm not going to have that experience, but I want something that engages me in the story more.
Cool.
That's kind of where I'm leaning.
Are those a bunch of baseball trophies directly behind you over there?
No, these are various trophies. The best are actually the ones that my kids give me. So I'll give me various trophies for Father's Day or other occasions. Right? Those are, you have a great smile on my face because, any other father or mother knows, right? Those are the most precious gifts.
Awesome. All right, Paul, what about you? What movie were we seeing at the drive-in?
So New York's reopening at the moment, and there's a drive-in opening here on the 27th of May, which I'm excited about. And I was waiting for the new Bond film, but it got pushed back to November because of the what's going on. So I'm going to say the new Bond movie.
All right, he's cheating the system. I don't like it, but that's fine. It's your show, not mine. All right, guys. Well, we are all here. As much as I'd love to talk movies, and always feel free to message me to do so. Today, we definitely wanted to hear about what all's going on with AI and your team in particular. And from what I understand, you all have a demo that you wanted to start with, right? All right.
Yes,
cool.
we have a few slides we wanted to walk through, sort of a framework for a discussion about what are the capabilities, how does this fit into what Genesys is describing as experience as a service, how does the product make that promise, that capability a reality. And then after we provide a bit of an overview of what the product does, we wanted to show it to you in a demo.
Awesome. Well, why wait? Let's go ahead and get started.
So these are the slides that I thought would be useful as a framework for our discussion. And again, I mentioned experience as a service, and the product, the solution we're going to be talking about is Genesys Predictive Engagement. So kind of starting out, one of the challenges our customers have is reaching their customers. So our customers' customers. They have so many messages that have been bombarding individuals that trying to break through and reach those individuals, you have to use personal data. And that data comes from a lot of different places. And of course, it comes from contact centers. It also comes from CRMs. What do we know about the products a person owns, what stage they are in the sales process, or maybe they have open trouble tickets. We need information from other parts of the CRM. In marketing automation systems, how are we driving people to the website? What banner ads and email campaigns are being used? Which ones are attractive? And then there are customer data platforms. And then there are a whole host of custom applications depending on what industry you're in. Maybe you're in the banking industry and you've got a loan underwriting application. Maybe you have shopping carts and so on for e-commerce. Healthcare systems, you've got electronic medical record, patient management systems, rich data that exists there that helps us understand and identify who those individual customers, patients, prospects are to engage them in the most appropriate, effective way. So the predictive engagement platform is really about leveraging this data to deliver experience as a service. And, experience as a service, sort of, pretty high level, fluffy sounding maybe to some of you, but we want to make it more tangible. It's really showing a customer that you know them. We say, show me that you know me, as a way to demonstrate that we really care about you. We don't want to ask the question in our head when we're visiting a website, why are you asking me that? Or even if you're on the phone, I've told you 100 times before, don't you know that I'm not interested in those things? Are you really listening to me, right? Do you care about me enough to remember what I've told you in the past, or to learn a little bit more about me, to leverage all the data that I've shared with you, that you've gathered about me based upon my behaviors, filling out various forms on the website, and so on. And that's really what demonstrates empathy, which is the core of good, effective communications. And it drives loyalty and establishes trust and drives loyalty. And that really is good for business. Loyalty, also known maybe as customer retention, an increase of 5% in loyalty can translate into 25 to 95% increase in profit. So it's not just about delivering a good experience. It's about, business. That's just good business. So leveraging all of this data is really what we're talking about. And I don't know if Troy or Paul, Don, if you had anything you want to add here. I'm going to move into kind of an overview of how the platform works. But before I do that, I just want to give you a chance to chime in or ask a question or comment.
Yeah, just to highlight, the center of that point with empathy. I think Genesys released some survey findings yesterday where it was a global survey where nearly 50% of it found nearly 50% of companies lack empathy, which is a huge number. So just that's the reality of how people are doing customer experience out there.
Great.
Yeah, exactly. It's about meeting those expectations, right? The customer expectations are continuously on the rise, and they always will be. And you can't meet them unless you're knowing about them, being empathetic, having that knowledge, to really show that you've stepped in to actually care about them and be able to help them properly. That's just to meet their expectations.
I think that's a great point, and a good analogy I always use is, once you've had really good pizza, it's hard to have pizza that's not good, right? And this may be controversial, but I think Chicago has the best pizza, not New York. But once those expectations for what is a good experience have been set, a digital experience, a telephony experience, a customer experience in general, it is hard to go back. So we're going to talk a bit about how we can meet those customer expectations with the predictive engagement solution. All right, so how does it work? So the predictive engagement platform can see what people are doing on your website and in your contact center before, during, and after interactions. And the observations can be used to send notifications and alerts to your account executives, your customer care people, even the people outside of the contact center. And it can drive real-time actions. That's really the core value of the product, is the real-time nature of it. We can see, notify, and act in real time. And that action could be a chat offer. It could be content popping up on the website. It could be ringing the person's phone if you know who they are and they've opted in. And as we've been talking about AI, and the name of the product is Predictive Engagement, it begins to predict an outcome. Is the customer likely to abandon a shopping cart or complete this application or ring in pick up the phone and call for tech support? Those predictions can be made by defining those outcomes, observing the outcomes, and measuring them. We could start to identify patterns and probabilities that lead to achieving those outcomes. And then it sort of circles back in here to enable agents to be, reps to be smarter, employees smarter, customers happier. Responding more quickly with the right information obviously makes a customer happier, preventing them from having to repeat themselves because we've been observing and analyzing their behaviors. We know what they may likely be interested in. And the more we observe these outcomes, the smarter the system gets and improves the accuracy of the predictions and improves the experience over time. So this is kind of a high-level view. See, notify, act, and predict. It's a handy acronym that spells SNAP: smarter employees, happier customers, and better outcomes. Really, people ask, what is the value of artificial intelligence? When I'm asked that, I point to number 5 here: make your employees smarter and your customers happier, and that'll lead to better outcomes. So another way to dig into how the platform works is looking at the data in this framework. Again, we talked about observing what's happening on the website. We're even looking at what brought you to the site or into the contact center with conversations, what's happening in those conversations. These are examples on the left of what we're looking at, the data that we have access to. And even custom events, those events that may be occurring in your banking application or e-commerce app or loan underwriting application. All that data is being streamed in real time to make these predictions. We're predicting, again, are you likely to call for support? These are all configurable objects in the product. Are you likely to check out? Are you likely to hit submit to enroll in the webinar? And on the far right here, what we're doing is making these predictions, and we're visualizing the prediction and the customer experience from what pages you're clicking on to what ways we're segmenting you into groups, and also driving these real-time actions. And I'm highlighting here some actions, the obvious ones: chat, phone, email. We can drive those actions based on the likelihood of you achieving an outcome. We can also trigger programmatic actions, maybe open a lead in your CRM, or add somebody to a nurture or drip campaign, or open a trouble ticket on behalf of somebody when they've shared a bit of information on the website. And this kind of loops around to the left and, kind of goes back to the way that we're improving and optimizing over time. Once you've created that lead, we get to see the attributes of that lead, and they go back into the event processing platform to improve those predictions.
Dan, do you mind if I just make a comment?
Yeah.
Yeah, so just as anybody who might be watching this is looking at the predictive engagement AI that we're discussing here, sometimes people tend to think of AI a next generation of a phase 2 or phase 3 in their customer experience strategy. Whereas this, what you're highlighting here, is really data that a customer already has. I mean, once this tool starts, observing and is in place, it really starts collecting journey data that you as a customer will already have to your customers. So it's collecting that data essentially without having to do a huge lift like might be associated with a typical AI product.
Yeah, in the question we often get is, how do you start? How do I get started? How much effort does it take? So, this is showing a vast amount of data sources on the left that you already have. And then a lot of actions over here on the right. When you think about trying to implement the whole thing, that could be a bit of effort, but you don't have to boil the ocean. You could just deploy the snippet of code on the site, configure a few outcomes, and just watch without actions. We call it observation mode. You can begin to observe and analyze and predict, and then decide later, after you have a better picture of what's happening, what actions to take. And you could additionally maybe just look at the website and then later connect to the CRM or your marketing automation system. It's something that you can sort of, peel back layers of the onion without having to, have a larger project where you're doing everything at once. So you can get started very quickly, literally in minutes, days, not weeks and months. You can get started leveraging the predictive engagement platform.
And Dan,
and people, they're often, to Paul's point, thinking, okay, how do I start this? Isn't this, overwhelming? And yeah, you can do this in just a minute, but also it's, a lot of people are thinking about, how do I want to implement AI and do that where I need it the most? And if you look at this event processing part, that is just something that a human just can't do. You just can't do it. You have thousands, millions of people on your site at any given time doing, a vast array of things, the outcomes that they're trying to achieve. So that's really where you need to put AI in places to make sense of what's going on, because you can't do that on your own. You need to put AI, and as Dan said, it's as simple as really just putting that snippet out onto the site in just a couple of minutes.
Yep, that's a great point.
Sorry, real quick, just because we were talking about this a little bit before Dan started the presentation, but you were saying the tools that you're going over right now, a lot of people even already have access to them. They just may not know about it. Is that correct? And I'm not just talking about the data, but actually turning on the predictive model and stuff like that.
That's a really good point. So anybody who owns Pure Cloud 2 or 3, or now Genesys Cloud 2 or 3, already has access to predictive engagement. They just need to activate it. And so you may already own the product and you just need to turn it on. Now, there is a fee for the number of events that we're processing, and we can talk to you about how exactly you estimate those events. It's based upon the amount of website traffic that you have and the number of page views per visit, things like that. It's pretty straightforward, but can be very predictable, the cost. But you can activate it just by putting the snippet of code on your website, and you may already have a license to use it.
Cool. Well, after we finish up this presentation, we'll make sure we walk through how to activate it and all of that. But Dan,
Great.
This presentation is great. Please continue.
Great. So, as Troy was saying, there can be a lot of complexity in customer interactions. And, when we talk to a lot of Genesys customers, they sometimes think more along the right side of this customer lifecycle, the care area, but there's value delivered across the entire customer lifecycle when using predictive engagement. We think of helping customers find better, win faster, keep longer. So in the marketing area, sales motion, and care, and there's an interrelationship between these areas as well. So, you may want to take somebody out of a marketing campaign if they've got a severe support ticket opened. Or you may want to notify or engage somebody more quickly if we predict that they're a hot prospect in the sales cycle. So there are ways to leverage the data and the experience across the full customer lifecycle. So another point that Troy was making is that there's some complexity here, right? So we've got some journeys here to demonstrate, hey, it's not a straight line. I shop for a product, I buy a product, I get support, right? There are a lot of areas where customers have outcomes they're trying to achieve and outcomes your business is trying to achieve. And these outcomes for financial services overlap a little bit with the hospitality industry and in the high-tech and e-commerce industry. And the platform delivers the ability to sort of make sense of all of the interactions, behaviors, data that's shared, existing about the customers, again, to reach through all that noise and engage the customer with empathy to demonstrate that, hey, we know you and we want to help you achieve your goals, your outcomes. So the platform makes sense of all of that complexity in segmenting customers, making predictions, and driving real-time engagement. And that's the last slide before we go into the demo here. So what I'm going to show now in a demonstration is a visitor on the website on the left, and on the right we're going to show you a peek under the hood of the predictive engagement platform. So we're going to be able to see what the system sees first, and then after we engage, I'm going to show you an agent view. So again, I want to make sure it's clear that what I'm about to show you is what the platform can see. So you've got millions of visitors, hundreds, thousands of visitors on your website, in your contact center. And here we're looking at all those visitors. Some are unknown, some are known. And then as we learn more about them, they log in, they may become known to us. So I'm going to find this one unknown visitor first. And I'm going to give you a view of what the system can see. So this, I just picked myself, an unknown visitor. And on the left, as I start to navigate around and look at different things on the page, you'll see a few things happening. You can see that as this visitor navigates around, their journey is being updated, their experience, the page views. We can see predictions about whether they're likely to make a payment or become identified as a lead. So these are more sales and marketing related outcomes that are configured in the product for the GSOL website. Your business is going to have different outcomes configured and different predictions will be made based upon the dynamic nature of your customers' behaviors and attributes. And then we also can see what part of the world this individual is, some technographic information, what device they're using. So we may treat mobile users differently than desktop users. And again, this person's unknown. But as the individual starts to put in some items in their shopping cart And again, I'm using shopping cart as an example. You don't have to have a shopping cart. You might have an application, which instead of a shopping cart, it's an application. So as we're navigating around here, we're going to show that the person added items to their shopping cart. We can see that their cart value changed. And then again, the platform is observing all of this stuff and making predictions and segmenting the user. Now I get to this point on the left and I'm not yet logged in. So maybe I've got payment information stored, so I want to log in. So when I log into the GSOL site, now a few things happened. So you see here the information about who I am and how to access me changed. But we also noticed that we abandoned a shopping cart and we offered a very personalized chat. So again, we saw a prediction of checking out very high and then becoming low. And this is what triggered this abandon, is what triggered this chat. So when I accept this chat, it's going to know who I am, and we're going to start the interaction with a chatbot. So we've got an intelligent chatbot that knows, hey, you were in a purchase. So we're asking them, do you need help with your purchase today? So again, we don't have the dreaded, how can I help you? We're asking them something that is leveraging the context of their behavior, they're logged in and so on. So we're beginning to show them that we know them, even though we're using a bot. So we may ask the bot, I need shipping info. Maybe we ask a question like that, and the bot can answer that question. So he tells us about, what it takes, availability of products and some information there. But then maybe I say, I want to speak with an agent. And when we say that, it's going to connect us live to an agent. And here, we're going to answer that interaction. And I'm going to change hats a little bit. And now I'm going to show the agent view, okay? So what we're seeing here now is an agent view. So, so as an agent, I can see information about the journey. I can see the predictions that are made. So at a glance, I've got some context here, and I could be more intelligent about what I'm going to say. So I see here there's a campaign discount. The person abandoned the checkout. So I want to go over here and look at my canned responses and search for discount code. And I find this GSOL promotion, and I can share that with a customer and guide them back to the shopping cart so that they can complete this purchase. And you watch here when I proceed back over to the checkout, probability of achieving this, payment was made, boom. We are able to apply this discount code and place my order. And wow. So we're able to complete this checkout and place the order. And I have no doubt what the outcome was. We can say they placed a new order. That's my call wrap-up code. And we're done and ready and waiting for another interaction. The customer on the left is happier because they placed an order. I went through the demonstration and skipped one very powerful capability that the product has that I wanted to show you, and that's content offer. So again, I'm going to show you how the platform, without an agent interacting, can shape the customer's experience and guide them to the right information. So again, I'm using this visitor that's live on the site. Maybe they're a residential visitor here, and they start to fill out this form. And they say, yes, I am a homeowner. And they share a little bit of information about their zip code. And, I'm going to put a full address in there and say they've got a really high energy bill and, a barely big roof or large home square footage. And they start to complete this form to be identified as a hot lead. So here we can see getting more green here for this other outcome. And now I've got the opportunity as a customer on the left to click and identify whether I'm interested or not. And if I abandon this and I don't fill that out, you see the probability of being identified as a hot lead is reduced. And what we just did here is predictive engagement drove this content that we've identified as being really good at encouraging people to sign up for this promotion. It's saying, hey, check out this information about our tax credit. So we're guiding the customer using this content offer to the right information that's going to help us learn more about, how these solar tax credits work. And, that's going to encourage me to go back over here and actually, complete this, this form and register for, oops, I didn't have that saved, and complete this this outcome. So now, we go to 100% here from whatever we're at, 60, 70%. And we even popped up a option for that individual to get in touch. So that was something else I wanted to show you, is how content offers can be used in addition to individuals to shape those journeys and guide people to the right information at the right time.
Cool.
So another thing I wanted to demonstrate here is what is happening behind the scenes. We're able to do things such as open trouble tickets or create leads on behalf of the customer in a automated way. So when we were showing you that one slide where we had all of the data coming in, the predictions being made in the middle, and then actions on the right, those actions are chat bot, as I showed you, a chat, but they can be programmatic actions. So here, imagine this visitor is hitting the site later in the day when no agents are available. And they come back here and they start putting these high-end solar panels in the cart, and maybe they've got 10 of these items, and maybe there's a different discount code that they can't find for the Trina solar panels, and they abandon this $2,000 shopping cart. And what's going to happen over here is that abandon is going to occur, and we're automatically going to add this individual to a lead, create a new lead in our CRM. And I'm showing you here for demonstration purposes all of the metadata that is going into our CRM. So if I go here to our CRM to give you a peek of what happened under the hood, I'm going to search for that lead Dan Era, and we're going to find Dan here, and we're going to look at the details, and we'll see, hey, there's a new lead that just was created, and there was an opportunity for a couple $1,000s in the shopping cart. We've got 10 items of the Trina solar panels that were in the cart. So as a sales rep, the next morning I come in, I've got this lead to follow up on, and we've even added this individual to a outbound campaign. So it's not, we're driving real-time actions to make agents smarter, but we're also extending the reach in delivering what we call orchestration, orchestrating the creation of leads in other systems that are going to, again, drive more interactions. Maybe this is going to drive an outbound call campaign to anybody who abandoned a shopping cart with more than $2,000. Existing customers who have opted in, of course, we'll leverage all of that, those capabilities that are part of the contact center, knowing who to call or who's on the do not call list. We're going to follow all those rules and, again, leverage the capabilities of the Genesys platform. But again, connecting those dots and delivering an orchestrated, intelligent way to continue to engage beyond that live interaction. So that's really what I wanted to demonstrate to you is how we're using predictions that are based upon the real-time analysis, observation analysis of data to show the customers that we know them, improve their experience, making them customers happier, the employees, agents smarter and achieve these outcomes, in this case of completing purchases. But again, they could be, signing up for a webinar, completing a contact us form, opening up a trouble ticket, and intelligently engaging more quickly using the predictive engagement platform.
Awesome. And I don't know if you could hear it, but I was giving you a standing ovation. And I think out of the other three, Troy was also.
Yes, thank you very much.
Well, I mean, I said it once, I'll say it again. Cool demo, really inspiring stuff. I'm going to go buy some solar panels. But just a couple of questions. I know we've got to circle back to the idea of this is already available for a lot of people in their Pure Cloud product. Can one of you maybe walk through how somebody who doesn't know how to turn this on can turn it on real quick and just kind of the process for getting started?
Sure. Yeah, I can take that one.
Okay.
So if like Dan mentioned, we have somebody on Genesys Cloud 2 or 3, in the admin tab under settings and add-ons, they will see an option for Genesys Predictive Engagement. Will be a link to how they need to proceed to activate that. Their link to what their pricing would be and some best practices for going live. Okay. They can go ahead and just click on that, and it will generate that tracking snippet that Dan talked about that they'll put on their site. It's very easy to do, and they'll be up and running.
Awesome. And I know App Foundry is kind of doing some 30 to 90 day free trials on some apps. Does this have any kind of a trial period or anything like that for people to test the waters?
Yeah, so we do have a 30-day, what we call a try and buy, available. But also, like I said, it is kind of available already in Genesys Cloud 2 and 3. So where someone can turn on, and it will be no commitment. There's information there, but we charge, by the event, a fraction of a penny, per event that we're processing. So it's something that they can turn on and off. When they inevitably see a tremendous amount of value from this, they can get in touch with us, and we can maybe take them off that sort of pay-as-you-go model and put them into, more of a yearly commitment and really get that rate down for them and save them a lot of money. But it's a great way for someone to kind of do their own self-directed trial by just going in. And like I said, it's a fraction of a penny, per event that we're processing, and it doesn't have a commitment. So that, and it's on your own org that way. So that's really the best way to do it.
Cool.
And I have to say that the documentation is excellent. Has a lot of videos in it that help you kind of walk you through exactly step by step how to deploy that snippet. If you're using Google Tag Manager or Telium, you can learn how to deploy the product there, and some really good examples of how to configure the system to, again, have that sort of walk, run, fly approach where you can just get started very quickly and easily, gradually.
Cool.
And of course, we should mention that Genesys PS is always available to you as well.
Yep.
All right. Awesome, guys. Well, hey, thanks so much. I hope members of the community found this demo and everything that Dan, Troy, Paul, and Don shared helpful. As always, feel free to ask questions in the community. That's what the show is for. We're always looking to try to help people out. And I had a few people write in and say that AI and predictive modeling was something they were interested in. So I think this is a great teaser for them. I hope it's inspiring. And I'd love to have you guys back on the show again sometime. This has been fabulous.
Great. This was fun for us. And anybody listening who would like to have a personalized demo for your business, if you're a partner, just reach out to us directly. We'd be happy to engage with you and customize a demo for you.
So we're always eager to do these demonstrations and kind of do them tailored to particular use cases of businesses. So please don't be shy to reach out. We'd love to work with you.
Cool. Is there an email or anything in particular that you want them to reach out to, or is there a web page or anything like that?
There's a lot of good information at genesys.com, and under the area of AI, You can find a lot of details about the various Genesys AI products, including predictive engagement, predictive routing, agent assist, bots, all right there on the genesys.com website.
Cool. Well, we will do our best to include that link with this episode. Dan, Don, Paul, and Troy, thanks so much for your time, guys. Really appreciate it. Enjoy your long weekends, and we'll be in touch. Thanks again, guys.
Very much, Matt.
Awesome.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Have a
Bye
great
now.
weekend.
Hey, everybody, thanks so much for joining us for this week's episode. As always, you can email us at qashow@genesys.com. Again, that's qashow@genesys.com with any topics that you would like for us to cover, or if you have an expert that you would like to have on the show, we're always happy to hear from you and try to give you the content that you crave. As a personal sign-off, I've really enjoyed this episode. For me, it was really cool to be able to see what Genesys is doing. Even though I'm an employee here, we always have new features coming out. They're always super cool, and it's hard to keep up with everything. I can imagine it can be kind of challenging for you as a customer. But for me today, this was a great episode. And I love it especially because it's an episode that I can share with my mom. And I wanted to just bring that up because my mom turned 70 a couple of weeks ago. So I just wanted to use this opportunity very quickly to say happy birthday, Mom. Thank you for everything that you've done. And I hope this gives you something to do in quarantine that isn't a puzzle. Other than that, thank you all so much for joining us. Hope you enjoyed the episode. If you have any follow-up questions, post in the community or feel free to email us. Cheers, guys. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in for this week's episode. We hope it was helpful and maybe a little bit entertaining. Each week, our hosts and experts review community discussions and debate what content to discuss, so your voice matters. Do we miss something? Do you have a question for the show? Let us know. Join the conversation at the Genesys online community. As a Genesys customer or partner, you can create an account. Just click the sign-in button found on most pages and follow the necessary instructions to create an account. Also, feel free to email us at qashow@genesys.com. We'd love to hear from you. If this is your first episode, welcome. You can view our entire archives. Go to the Helpful Links panel found on most community pages and find the QA Show archive that interests you. We appreciate your support of the show and the community. Cheers!